Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jurex, and this is the worst mistake an animal can make. R.I.P. Freya. Oh no, there's R.I.P. in the title. So yeah, this was a casual geographic. Obviously, this was posted, I guess, today or something. I don't know the time, but yeah, that's why I don't know my notification. But yeah, last video was kind of fucked up. Video before that was kind of fucked up. It's all about how. Now before it was like some animal facts, some small story. That's how this channel was working. Recently, this channel is now, I guess going up in, product quality in a way that he's telling entire stories of tragic things that happen to animals. And yeah, that just brings this whole fucked up thing at a whole another level. So I don't know if this is going to be similar than that, but yeah, it says R.I.P. Freya, so something like that, right? There was a case of, chimpanzee, I think, right? How he was taken in house, then how fucked up thing happened. There were multiple things, like I guess 2 or 3 stories like that in the last video. But yeah, that's what it. Remember, if you like my Rickson, do not subscribe so I know which type of videos to react to more. Check out the Rickson, there's a link in the description. And yeah, let's watch it.
Let's talk about Freya. Freya was a female walrus famous for showing up in Norway when her kind is usually found hundreds of miles north in the Arctic. She was also known for accidentally sinking boats by sunbathing on top of them. All 1,300 pounds of her. But what made Freya different from other walruses was that not only was she not afraid of people, she was curious and would actively approach them. And it wasn't long until Freya gained a fan club that would gather around just to watch Freya be herself. But you already know how it goes, we can't have nice things. Crowds of people would completely surround her and get close enough to touch her, and some people would even throw things at her. Now you would think people would be smart enough to social distance from something in the same weight class as a car. But then you'd be giving people a lot of credit they don't deserve.
Yeah, seriously.
In one incident, Freya chased a woman that got too close into water. Even with all these problems, officials said that taking her out would be the last possible option and that Freya would probably just leave on her own. Well, she didn't, and neither did the people that were told to leave her alone. Now they could have tried to relocate her, but tranquilizing and hauling something that can weigh 4 shacks can go wrong in a lot of ways. So on August 14th, they took Freya out. Permanently. With the only thing she ever did wrong was trusting people. You wanna know the worst part though? The only reason she was there in the first place was probably because of global warming. Moral of this video, y'all remember what happened to the world after Haran?
Wait a minute. Okay, seriously though. Are you sure they couldn't have find a way to tranquilize her and relocate? I mean, yeah, I get it. It's a big animal, but it's not like it's fucking like, it's not like cheetah that runs. It's slow moving animal in a way, right? So couldn't they relocate her? This is just fucked up. And are we sure that she was just trying to to just sunbathe or whatever, or trying to escape something like orcas or something, right? We do know the walruses sometimes escapes like that by going on land. But yeah, this is just fucked up story, man. And as far as throwing things, right? I've seen that in many videos on YouTube too, like lots of people, kids, people just oh, look at that, that's an animal, let's throw small rocks at it. What does that achieve? I can't wrap my head around that. What's the psychology behind that? Why throw something at it? What, it's if you throw it, suddenly it's gonna start speaking to you or something? What is the goal there? I never understood that. Let's throw something at the wild animal.
Harambe became a hashtag. Don't be surprised when life hits us with the Tsukuyomi for flatlining Freya. Now, we gotta spin the block on this whole Freya thing, because I got more I want to say. Sparkno's version, Freya was a 1,300-pound walrus that popped up in Norway and wasn't afraid of people, and because of that, people kept getting way too close to her. Despite the whole, 1,300 pounds thing. Eventually, she ended up getting put down for the crime of trusting people. The sad thing is, we've seen this before. This is a Caribbean monk seal. There used to be hundreds of thousands of them, but the last one became past tense in 2008. People found out that these seals have oil in their blood. Had oil in their blubber. As a result, they got hunted with extreme prejudice. Those that didn't starve to a flatline after those same people overfished off the reefs they hunted on. But the biggest reason why this seal...
Oh, look at that seal, isn't that good? Look at that face. It has oil. Oil? Get out the machine gun. Yeah. It's, it's not a joke when people make fun of just say that thing has an oil and, people will just basically try to claim it. Yeah, that's not a joke at this point. This is just fucked up. This is why I think that, the more, electricity becomes normal, electric cars, electric things, right? Solar panel plants become normal. Yeah, this whole, lots of fucked up thing happens in the name of oil will go away.
Gone for good, it's gonna hurt you. You see, the seals weren't afraid of people. They were naturally curious and wouldn't run away when humans would approach them because I guess they didn't see humans as a threat. That trust in people got them put on a billboard. Like people would just walk up to a sunbathing seal and just cancel its entire life subscription. We stat patted them so hard that the seal that used to be all over the islands got discontinued by us. And best believe they're not the only ones whose trusted people got taken advantage of. But it might just be the saddest. Yeah. Which brings us to Freya, who was literally in a no-win
And also, we know how much brain power seals have. Knowing that is also fucked up. Like, come on.
She trusted people too much, people abused it, and she got put out of order for it. But if she had been more aggressive with people and actually squared up with them, all 1,300 pounds of her would have been canceled anyway. Long story short, we Harambe'd a walrus and nature finna bend us over for it. Yeah, I should probably explain. So that right there, the paralysis demon with wings? That's actually a harpy eagle. It's one of the biggest eagles in the world, with talons the size of grizzly claws. Damn. With a grip almost as strong as Rottweiler jaws. And even though this satanic pigeon could probably violate if it wanted to, they're actually not dangerous to people. There's no recorded case of one attacking a human, let alone murking one. The problem is they also have no fear of humans. I mean, why would you?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. That's the case, right? Whenever a dangerous animal is just, like this is in the wild, right? Like a big fucking eagle with a massive claws that can just fucking kill a human in minutes with just one swipe or something. Yeah, they are not going to be, attacking humans because they are not afraid of it. That's what happens in the wild. Usually wildlife attacks some human or something because they are afraid of themselves. Right? But when the eagle I'll just fly away and I'll just kill him if I want to. Yeah, eagle's not gonna attack humans. It's like, I can take him out whenever I want.
When you look like that. But their lack of fear also makes them a popular target for exotic hunters, deleting them for, sport, fun, the excitement they don't get in bed. Honestly, who can say? So buckbeak's understudy is almost endangered, and a big reason is because they make the mistake of trusting people. Kinda like this guy. This is a quokka. It's basically a fun-sized kangaroo, and since the ones on islands have no natural predators, they also have zero fear of humans, which is why these selfies exist. But because we are the Earth's acne, some people will really wake up and decide to use their trust in humans against it. How you can hurt something that's literally serotonin with fur is beyond
Seriously.
me. I'm not going to show you for obvious reasons, but there have been cases of people seeing this quokka and then kicking them and throwing them into walls for... Again, I really don't know what has to go wrong in life for you to think that's okay. And because we live in a generation of telling on yourself, a lot of these people are the ones that post the videos. The world's happiest animal, and someone decides they want to try to score a field goal with it. Whole time, the only thing the quokka ever did wrong was assume it was safe to be around people. I know one thing though. Yeah, I wouldn't try it with his big homie. We're gonna talk about animals that we...
Man, seriously, one thing I've noticed so far about humans is that our psyches, let's just say it's a broad spectrum, right? You will find all combination of people that think in a way. So it doesn't really surprise me there are people who see some cute animal like that. Oh, what happens if I kick it? It doesn't surprise me, but it's still fucked up. I mean, I didn't know that an animal like that existed who just friendly towards human, and people have this many photos with it. Those photos looks like somebody photoshopped or something.
We've done dirty, then I don't think any of them has a worse extinction story than this one right here. This is a thylacine, but you probably know it as a Tasmanian tiger. Even though it's a marsupial, meaning it has more in common with kangaroos, koalas, and the devil than an actual tiger.
Yeah, obviously.
Why it looks like nature tried to redraw tigers blindfolded is because of convergent evolution. And long story short, convergent evolution is just two people coming up with similar answers to the same test. Anyway, the Tasmanian tiger was an apex predator, meaning if you ever wanted to call Australia or Tasmania home, you'd have to pay property taxes to the thylacine. Its downfall started the second settlers touched down in its area code and started colonizing the hell out of them. Not only did these settlers start gentrifying their home, they also air-Ubered a bunch of European-born diseases that the thylacine was not ready for. But what really did them in was the Tasmanian government straight up putting bounties on their heads. People were actively encouraged to take the Tasmanian tiger off the census, which meant hunters dropping career highs on their numbers just to feed their families. It also didn't help that when settlers first came on the scene, a new challenger came with them. The introduction of dingoes by settlers just meant more competition. And if they didn't help drive the thylacine to oblivion, they certainly didn't make life any easier. Farmers didn't take any pity on them, as they would murk thylacines on site to protect their livestock. To add insult to genocide, we now believe that the thylacine's jaws were actually too weak to kill the sheep they were accused of taking. Damn. So we pretty much racially profiled them to extinction. And to make it worse, because even nature decided to get its licks in, some researchers believe that the sheep deaths that the thylacine got blamed for were actually caused by dingoes. The same dingoes that settlers brought in the first place. So between trigger-happy humans, canine competition, and European germs, the thylacine's ticket was pretty much punched. But once we realized how close they were to
dingoes, they don't have really good reputation for this, right? Attacking sheep, attacking kids, right? I think there was lots of cases coming out of Australia, or was it New Zealand, where lots of dingoes killed lots of kids or something.
Becoming a history lesson, we finally decided to help try to bring them back from the brink by raising them in captivity, which went well, until a bunch of them caught distemper and became chalk outlines anyway. The last wild thylacine was shot in 1930 by a farmer whose name I'm not even going to bother saying. And after all that, the last man standing was a male Tassie tiger named Benjamin in the Bohart Zoo, until he got put on a shirt in 1936, ultimately ending the entire bloodline. Now class, anyone want to take a guess how Benjamin became a hashtag? Well, a little fun fact about Tasmania, on rare occasions the days can be blisteringly hot while the nights become brutally cold. One night Benjamin got locked out and froze to a flat line, cause not even the forces of nature were about to let him slide. And that's how the last of an entire species died. Someone left him out. And to add insult to extinction, the thylacine was officially given protected species status 2 months before they got discontinued for good. After decades of putting them in Twitter bios, that feels like gaslight. Now there have been talks of scientists trying to bring the thylacine back, and some who believe the thylacine never left at all, we just haven't found the rest yet. And to be honest, I don't really see how that's possible, unless they have NordVPN. Cause NordVPN creates an encrypted tunnel for you and your data, and protects your identity by hiding your IP address.
Alright, seriously though. I mean, this taking out species is really fucked up. It happened a lot, especially in Victorian times, right? People just, with a mustache and fucking whatever glass, one-eyed glass or whatever they have. Those people really just went there just to, make sure that they take out certain species. It's like something, yeah, look at that, we made that extinct. That's just fucked up time. And now people are like, oh no, it's extinct. Let's bring it back. Let's use some kind of a genetic science to bring it back. Really? Really? What the fuck were you doing when you made it extinct?
Meaning you can go ahead and enjoy all the perks of the internet, with whatever that may be, I don't really judge, without having to worry about your data being sold to the highest bidder. You have the option to connect to one of thousands of different servers across several different countries all around the world. For example, if you want to watch SpongeBob on Netflix but can't because you live in the States, you can enjoy the benefits of Australian servers without having to square up with Kangaroo Jack. And with super fast servers, you never have to feel like you're compromising security over speed. Or speed over security. Ask Cheetahs how important that is. And with NordVPN's threat protection, you can enjoy your internet experience without having to worry about ads, trackers, or malware. So to protect your data and get the most from your streaming service, go to nordvpn.com/casualgeographic to score a huge discount only available for a limited time. And with Nord's money back guarantee, it's basically risk-free. You know what's not risk-free? Well, if you're a thylacine, breathing. So you remember how I said we've done some really questionable things in the name of science like this? Well, once we attempted something so unethical that all I have to say is one word for you to truly understand what time it is. One word, human-Z. It's exactly what it sounds like. Basically, a Soviet biologist tried to cosplay as God and create a human-chimpanzee hybrid. Why? You see, that's the thing. I don't think we ask why enough in science. As in, why in the why was this funded? So yeah, they tried to see if a chimp garden could do something with a human seed. If it means anything, at least they didn't They didn't.
Yeah, see, the problem with the science is, in a way, it's, it just comes with the territory in a way that in science you can never know what is going to be profitable in the future, right? So all the science basically spearheads towards, if you can possibly do it, right? Maybe it will, something will come out of it, right? That will be beneficial. That's the problem with science. So people like, maybe doing this will result in we knowing something more about our own biology. Maybe we'll cure more disease or something. People just basically think that and just go with whatever they're thinking, right? This happens even today in genetic engineering. People are making weird hybrids that they really shouldn't, right? Just in the name of maybe we'll figure out something. And I love science, so in a way I understand that, but still it's a border that we walk, right? I mean, should we do it? Is it ethical, or should we limit science, right? Maybe because when we learn more and more about atom, right? People are asking like, why would I give a shit about atom? Who the fuck cares about atom? But that basically transformed the world as we know today, right? 90+% of things happen in today's world with the technology and shit because we spent money in discovering more and more things about atom, right? Quantum physics and things like that. So people are like, why do I care about that? Yeah, apparently, it was pretty important. So it's a gray area in a way. Should you do it, right? Will you find something more about your own biology? Will you cure cancer or whatever? We don't know. That's the thing about science. It's a frontier. We don't know. But it's also, ethical things also come into play.
Nah, instead they artificially planted human seeds in 3 female chimpanzees. Still very questionable, but it could have been worse. And if I wasn't on a watch list before, that sentence definitely did it. But surprise, surprise, nothing happened. And I don't think the world would have had the tools to handle if it did. Also, China took a swing at this in the 60s. So while the Soviet Union and the US had a PP measuring contest all the way into space, China researchers were busy trying to create a human-chimpanzee chimera. Next to hand-servicing dolphins and giving them LSD, this might be the most sus thing we've ever called science.
What's the weirdest looking extinct animal you've ever heard of? I'll go first. This, Adipodentatus. And this is a correction to the original reconstruction they had of it.
I hear you loud and clear, and I get it, but tell you what. I'll see your Adipodentatus and raise you one Platybelodon. It was a 3-ton herbivorous semi-aquatic middle finger to the natural order. It's like if nature tried to redraw elephants strictly from memory, but while also tweaking off 6 hits of acid. It's believed it used its mouth as a shovel, rubbing it against trees to cut the bark to eat it. I say believe because when your skull looks like a pissed off power tool, the best science can do is guess. They were around in the Miocene about 15 million years ago, and scientists say they went extinct after a massive drought turned them all into a history lesson. Or if you believe in God, he might not make mistakes, but he knows when to put a rough draft back in the vault. You might believe in God, but God did not believe in them. It's like nature took the animal I love the most and turned it into a bad trip with legs. Because not even ice skating Satan on acid could come up with this paralysis demon. What is the most underrated animal in your opinion? Oh, that's easy. Alright, so here's a little pop quiz for y'all. What is the most widespread carnivore in the entire world? Carnivore being an animal that eats mostly meat. Any guesses? No? It's actually them. Believe it or not, there are actually 40 different subspecies of red fox, and not all of them are red. Some are silver, some are black, some are confused. This one's a Pokemon. Foxes can pretty much live wherever they feel like. In 1870, settlers actually brought over foxes to Australia, because I guess fox hunting is like a pretty big English thing, like crumpets, tea, and losing the World Cup. About 8 million foxes later, I'd say they'd regret it if they were alive to see what they did. You probably live right next to a fox and have no idea. I've lived in New Jersey 25 years and I've seen a fox in real life like twice, and both times were by accident. As part of a Soviet experiment, researchers were able to somewhat domesticate silver foxes. They did this by taking the foxes that were the most friendly and least afraid of people and breeding them. It's like God had leftovers after making cats and dogs, decided to make casserole, and out popped the fox. They're like dogs that identify as cats. Almost forgotten, red foxes mate for life. They believe in monogamy, meaning the average fox is doing a whole lot better than the rest of us. The only continent that doesn't have a fox on it is the one God turned into Satan's skating rink. They're nature's overachievers. If they have haters, it's because they're just too good at life. We've all had this question at one point, and if you say you haven't, you're a liar. That question being, if we weren't here, what animal would run the world? And you know what? This might be a hot...
What animal? I don't know. Some great ape? Cockroaches? I don't know.
hot take, but I really think we are one Thanos snap away from seeing crows in the driver's seat. Crows, ravens, corvids in general, they're all too smart for anyone else's good, and one day they're gonna turn on us, and it's gonna be bad. I'm not gonna talk about the fact that ravens are low-key domesticating wolves.
Run is kind of a strong word. There'll be more of that. They'll be more easier to live since everything's a wasteland, but they won't be able to dominate it. Apes, I think, would dominate it, right? I think apes would do it. Yeah. There'll be a lot of cockroaches, basically. They can survive anything, and we are gone. So there'll be a lot of them. With evolution, they might even get bigger, who knows. But with their legs, yeah, they can get bigger. Bugs can get bigger with that kind of legs. People have this phobia about after watching movies like giant spiders, giant cockroaches. Like, that can't happen, right? Your legs needs to be really thick if you want to rise in size. But yeah, there'll be a lot of crows. I mean, it's ridiculous. There was a video recently where crow was, like that story. There's a story, right? A crow can reach to the water. It puts stones in it just so the water level rises. Yeah, that actually happened. There was an actual video of that. Somebody actually shoot where a crow was doing that, putting stones in the bottle just so the water rises up. That's just awesome.
The same way we did. Or that crows have the intelligence and a problem-solving ability of a 7-year-old. And you probably already know that crows are smart enough to drop nuts on crosswalks, pause, let a car run over, and then wait for the walk sign to go claim their prize. Not only are crows smart enough to use tools, some scientists say the Caledonian crow has entered its own stone age. And while crows can't recognize their own reflection, they do understand how mirrors work. Yeah. Basically, in an experiment, crows are able to find an object not in their direct line of sight by using its reflection in a nearby mirror. Not only can crows and ravens remember faces for years, but they'll go on to teach their kids not to mess with you.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm pretty sure I heard it from this channel, right? Like, if you attack a crow or something, crow will remember, crow will tell its kids, and they will avoid your area. I mean, that's some next level shit. When you hear that, like, what? That can't be true, but apparently it is.
Both ravens and crows can hold grudges, especially if they feel like they've been wronged. When a crow sees another dead crow, it'll call out to its other crow bros and they'll investigate the cause of its death to make sure the area is still safe for them. They're even smart enough to have self-control. In another experiment, crows were willing to deny a piece of food if doing so meant they got a bigger reward down the line. And I'm just realizing this, but that also means crows and ravens can plan for the future. Yeah, that's not normal. And we've already seen what happens when crows turn on people. Crows in Tokyo have gotten bold enough to straight up attack people for food, for territory, or just for the sport of it. They'll even go as far as to purposely take aim and drop deuces on people. Those same Tokyo crows have memorized the garbage schedules of different parts of the city, so when crows pull up, it's not by accident. There's a reason why Rick chose crows. One day we're gonna get real life Hitchcocked and it's not gonna be.
Alright, seriously, man. Look, as soon as all the facts he said meant nothing to me after the fact that he said that once a crow dies, a crow sees it, call out its other crow friends and investigate. That's just like, nothing can beat that shit. That is as close to human behavior you can come with, right? Yeah, I didn't know that their brain power was at that level. But obviously you hear about all this, like how dolphins are really smart, how elephants are really smart, how crows are really smart, like their brain power is really high. But you can, like, I mean, in which direction you're putting the stat, right? Can they use their brain power more, but are they more, human-like, right? Can they use their brain power creatively? So you can never know. But hearing things about crow like that, yeah, I can understand what it means if crows will, I mean, eventually if humans all go away, who knows, crows might, evolve eventually in a few 100,000 years or something into human-like creature that looks like crows. Who the fuck knows? Like one of those alien movies. But yeah, they are really damn smart. Alright, well, that was the worst mistake an animal can make. RIP Freya. At least this video started with fucked up and ended with something. Oh, look at that. Aren't the crows smart, right? So at least there's that. Alright, well, if you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe. Check out the reaction. There's a link in the description. I've done quite a few casual geographic video reactions already. It's there. I guess find it in the link. And yeah, I'll see you next time.